What's up guys, welcome back to Finance to Fly. My name is Luke and I'm here to help you elevate your travel while minimizing your spending. Today we're going to be covering all the ways you can redeem your AmEx points and how you can get the most value out of them. So to start things off, to get AmEx points you have to have a AmEx Gold, Green, Platinum, or another card that earns their AmEx MR membership rewards points. And stacking these points can be really easy when you add in the multipliers they have on these cards. They usually are higher, but they also have a higher annual fee. The sign up bonuses, maybe using Rakuten, some of their offers, stuff like that. It can really boost the points and get you really high amount of points in a short amount of time. For example, my own, I've earned about 1 million AmEx points through sign up bonuses, taking advantage of their offers, Rakuten. I've earned about 1 million points in under 2 years. But for this video, we're going to be showing you how you can redeem from the lowest value, which is around 0.6 cents per point, to all the way up to 11.6 cents per point in value. So we're going to start off with the worst way, obviously the 0.6 cents per point value, and then we're going to move up to the 11.6 cents per value, and starting now. So the worst way to use your points, or I guess the least valuable way to use your points, is to redeem your points for covering purchases on your card. Doing this will give you a hard 0.6 cent per point value, and this is by far the worst or least valuable way to redeem your points. I would suggest doing 5 other things before doing this one. As easy as this is, there's other ways that are super easy too to get good value for your points. Next way, there's another way to redeem your points. It's gift cards. You can buy gift cards on AmEx's website. These will come from point redemption. You'll get around a 0.6 cent per point value to 1 cent per point value. Just depends on if they're having a sale or whatnot's going on. It's not the best way to get your points value, but hey, if you do need to get a small gift, maybe a $25 gift card for a distant cousin or something, their birthday, and you just don't want to spend the money, this would be an okay reason. I still think you need to strive for 1 cent per point value or more, but hey, if this works for you, this is available. And now moving on, we're moving up in the tiers. Way number 3 to redeem your points is redeeming your points through Amazon, PayPal, or Best Buy, or other sites that allow you to redeem AmEx points directly. This will get you a solid 0.7 cents per point value for your redemption of your points, and still, it's not good, but I do recommend looking up AmEx's Amazon offers, because sometimes you can get 10, 20, 30, 40% cash back up to XYZ. I think it's $100 on your purchase if you use 1 AmEx point. So in that case, yes, using 1 AmEx point when you have one of those offers activated could make 1 point worth $40 up to, pretty much, if you have 40% cash back off $100. So now we're going to get to the redemptions that are worth more to your buck and are definitely geared towards more travel, but are still able to be done if you don't travel. So through the AmEx travel portal, you can book travel for a solid 1 cent per point value in terms of cash, which by the standards is what you should minimally strive for when you're redeeming your points for cash, especially your transfer partner points. So like Chase, AmEx, Capital One, Citi, 1 cent per point is what you should easily get. But through their travel portal, you can redeem 1 point for 1 cent in value, so that means 10,000 points is worth $100. There is a downside to this though, as oftentimes these flights or hotel rooms can be a little bit more than just booking directly with the airline or the hotel's website. So you're kind of losing that 1 cent per point value. It'll probably end up around 0.9 cents per point value, but it's still a decent way to redeem your points. But I did give an example for this. It's going to be a Cleveland to LAX flight, and you can just see it's 1 cent per point value in booking this with points. Again, like I said, this is where the variability comes in depending on what card you have. If you have a business platinum card or a Centurion card, you can get 35% rebate on your points for the business platinum, or up to 50% back on rebate for your Centurion card. So that means if you bought a $1,000 flight for 100,000 points, 6 to 8 weeks after booking, you're going to get 35,000 points back through the AmEx Business Platinum, or if you have a Centurion, you're going to get 50,000 points back. Pretty much is a rebate of using your points. You're going to need the full points in order to book it, but about 6 to 8 weeks after, you're going to get about half those points back, or 35% of those points back. And I also have to mention this little perk, it's only for business or first class bookings, so it's going to have to be more than just economy booking. So you're going to have to get maybe first from Cleveland to LAX, or first from Cleveland to Dubai, I don't know, business class over to Europe, but that's where you're going to get that rebate, only on business first class flights. And to give you a cent per point value for the Business Platinum, this will boost the minimum value you can get out of the travel portal to 1.54 cents per point, or 2 cents per point for the Centurion card. The fifth way to redeem your Amex points, and is definitely the more interesting of ways, if you have the Charles Schwab Platinum card. This will give you an option to redeem your points at a 1.1 cent per point rate up to the first 1,000,000 points in a year to your brokerage account. This can be your normal brokerage account, and then you can turn it straight into cash, so 1,000,000 points can turn into $11,000 each year, and then it goes down after the first 1,000,000 points to I think 0.8 cents per point. That's cash. That's straight cash you can get as 1.1 cent per point rate for your points. That's pretty good. And then another way to cash out your points at a cash rate, if you have the business checking account and you have the Amex Business Platinum, you can cash your points out at a 1 cent per point rate for cash. So moving on to way number 6 to redeem your points, and by far the most valuable, and that is booking travel through Amex's transfer partners. Amex currently has 20 transfer partners, 17 airlines, and 3 hotels. And this is where you're going to get the absolute best bang for your buck, especially if you want to book luxury travel. For these redemptions, obviously you can book hotels, but I want to go for some of the best redemptions, or I guess just kind of stay consistent and use flights so that you can see how you can get economy flights in the US all the way up to first class flights around the world. So for this first transfer partner redemption, we're going to transfer your points from Amex to Delta. It's pretty simple through the website. You just go ahead, connect your accounts, transfer the points, blah, blah, blah. Goes right to Delta within 24, 48 hours. Usually it's instant though. And this is going to be on Delta booking a Delta flight. Delta will not get you great value for your points, but hey, if you have to this certain itinerary, it will have availability, just not the best points. For example, this one-way ticket from Boston to Jacksonville is around 9,500 points and $6. It's all right? You just need to get from point A to point B, especially that's basic economy. You'll get 1.15 cent per point value out of it, which is okay, and still better than redeeming for everything else. So I guess if you really needed to do this redemption because you need to go to Jacksonville for something, or somewhat blah blah blah, this would be a good way to do it. But you can see that through the example, I did decide to keep all 3 options in terms of booking economy class tickets. Each of them vary by their points value, but on average it's going to come in around 1.15 cent per point value. That's why I kind of said it before, but that's kind of where you're going to get points value for Delta miles, especially if you're booking economy, and these 3 options kind of show that. Now for the second redemption option, we're going to take it to step up. We're going to book from LAX to JFK in American Airlines flagship first. This is going to be different than your normal domestic flight, as this includes a lie flat seat on a narrow body aircraft, which isn't that readily available. If you were to pay for this one-way ticket in cash, it would cost you $1,160. But if you transfer your Amex points over to Etihad Airways, which is a partner of American Airlines, it only costs you 67,000 points and $60. This will net you a nice cent per point value of about 1.64 cents per point. That's after you take the cash cost minus the taxes and fees and divide by the points amount. It's not the best, but it's much better than all the redemptions we've seen before. It's over double that of just redeeming your points for a basic covering your purchases in your card. So for this third redemption, we're going to start to leave North America and look for more luxury ways of traveling the world. I thought of making this redemption a European business class redemption, but I wanted to show you kind of the distances you can go with points. So for this business class, we're going to book a one-way ticket from San Francisco to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. This is going to be booked through Air France and KLM's Flying Blue program for a Sabre award rate of 102,000 points and about $256 in taxes and fees for this one-way business class ticket. You can also book this through Virgin Atlantic for 140,000 points, but I would definitely recommend using the Air France KLM booking because it's just so much cheaper in points, 40,000 points difference. It really changes the cent per point value you get, especially because the flight is only about $3,100 one way in business class. After subtracting the tax and fees, you're getting a solid 2 cent per point value out of Virgin Atlantic miles, or if you book through KLM Flying Blue, you're gonna get around 3 cents per point value. Now for this fourth redemption, we're gonna be leaving the US but going the other way. We're gonna be going east. We're gonna be going to Europe. This time it's gonna be an economy class, a round trip ticket from Washington to Paris. Again, the best way to book through Europe is through Air France and KLM's Flying Blue. They have these promo awards that allow for 15,000 point economy class award tickets each way. So 30,000 points and about $256 $6 will get you a round trip ticket from Washington to Paris, and that flight usually costs around $1,200. When you subtract the taxes and fees and divide by the points amount, you're gonna get around a 3.02 cent per point value. That is 5 times better than how you can just redeem your points for a basic covering your charges on your card. So for this last redemption, I could keep going on and continue to climb 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cent per point in value, but I just want to get you straight to the point. Creme de la creme redemptions. This is going to be a flight from Newark to Greece. It's not the most point efficient way to get to Europe, as you just saw with the last Air France KLM booking, but Emirates first class is definitely a bucket list thing to do if you have the points amount, because this is normally an $11,000 to $12,000 airplane ticket. This specific 9-hour flight from Newark to Greece is just under $12,000. When you book with points, it's going to cost you 102,000 points and around $105. That's an incredible redemption because the taxes and fees are so low. I mean, comparing it to our other examples, that's the same exact cost as it takes from San Francisco to Vietnam and less in taxes and fees, because usually these Emirates first class tickets come with a $1,200 taxes and fees price tag, which makes this flight ugh. And when it comes to calculating that cent per point value, when you subtract those taxes and fees from the cash cost, you're getting 11.6 cents per point in value. That means if you earned 102,000 points on your Amex Gold through the 4 point per dollar multipliers on restaurants and groceries, you're essentially getting 46% cash back. Obviously, you shouldn't look at it that way, because normally you wouldn't buy a $12,000 plane ticket to get to Greece. But hey, if you're looking at it like, I want to take Emirates first class on a bucket list trip, this would be the way to do it because the taxes and fees are so low. You gotta look at this redemption purely as bucket list. You can't look at it as something that you would book. I always like to look at points is, would I actually book this? And if I do, am I getting good point value? So if I would book this and I'm not getting good point value, I'd probably just book it with cash. Otherwise, if I'm getting good point value, I'm gonna book it with points. I would not book a $12,000 plane ticket. I think it's ridiculous. Like, obviously, it's the best first class in the world. Use points. Don't book this with cash. It's $12,000. That's a down payment on a car, down payment on some houses. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on a plane ticket. Use points. Save your money. So, as the title of the last slide just possessed, how should you spend your Amex points? The answer is really simple. Whatever way that you see fit is best for you. That could be redeeming them for statement credits, though I do not recommend doing that, or gift cards, or that could be transferring the points for a bucket list experience on Emirates like I just mentioned. For me personally, when I set out in the credit card game, I had one goal. I wanted to see the world as much as possible in the nicest way as possible. I had spent about a year and a half, 2 years just learning about the credit cards, learning how I can get this points for this much, blah, blah, blah. I like giving examples in my videos because when I was learning this game, I was learning that sometimes you don't always see the obvious redemption. Maybe I was redeeming XYZ through ABC, but when I could have been redeeming XYZ through DEF, and that would have been saving me 80,000 points or whatnot, something like that. I mean, learning those little quirks really helps the game and makes it a lot of fun. My goal was to have as many lifetime experiences as I can through points, because I can't afford a $12,000 plane ticket, but I can because I have 100,000 points and $105 in my pocket, right? Like, that's the stuff I wanted to achieve through learning the points. I mean, that's obviously gonna be different from you. Your goal could be flying Delta throughout the United States, just having the ability to, hey, I wanna take a weekend trip here, I wanna take a weekend trip here. Okay, I'll book this, book that with points. Oh, doesn't have my cash cost, right? All of our ways of redeeming points are different, and it should be suited just for personally us, but you definitely should have a goal in mind. I mean, your goal could be earning as many points as possible. I mean, there's so many ways to redeem your points, and there's so many good ways to redeem your points that you have to really consider, hey, what are my goals? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And how will this affect me in the future? But ultimately, whatever works best for you is what you should do. You shouldn't listen to YouTubers like myself tell you, oh, you should redeem this way. Look, if you need to redeem it for a statement credit, go right ahead, right? Obviously, I don't recommend that because you're not going to get the best value, but if you need to and you have to, just do it, right? Whatever works best for you is ultimately what matters in the end. So we might have different goals, but at the end of the day, as long as we're using points to get good value out of them, we're all winning in this game. So all in all, what do you think? Did I miss anything? Did I get anything wrong? What do you think about transferring your points? Which way is your favorite way to redeem your points? Do you have the Charles Schwab Platinum? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you could hit the like and subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, have a great day.